Maybe you played with one of these or even started your own collection. For many car enthusiasts, Matchbox cars were a must-have in their toy collection. The attention to detail, the ability to mimic the original car design was dead on. And now, more than 70 years later, people are still buying them. And our FYI reporter Yolanda Vazquez went to Pennsylvania to catch up with some tiny car fans.
From a box full of beaters to rare and precious pieces, there's no limit to the variety of small-scale toys on display at the Matchbox Die-Cast Car Show in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
You know, I go to stores like Walmart and stuff and look at the cars, but this is amazing.
Now in its fourth year at the Antique Automobile Club of America Museum, the show draws quite a crowd.
I think it's pretty much anybody's car lover heaven.
And is one of the largest Matchbox shows in the country. Stephen Allen collects and sells these tiny toy car gems. He says the level of detail for each collector varies.
Advice that I give other collectors in this field is buy the best quality that you can afford.
And while some are dirt cheap, others cost a pretty penny. Like this brown truck that Matchbox made for the Beals-Bielsen Company.
What's interesting about this is this car was never made for sale. It was delivered to Beals-Bielsens as a promotional item to give away to their clients.
Allen says it sells for about $1,200 and doesn't even come in a Matchbox box. Searching this treasure trove of cars requires a bit of research and knowledge. Co-promoter Ron Slider says there were only 75 models originally made by Matchbox, but each model had a number of variations.
So you may have black wheels on one and metal wheels on another, or one might be a different color. All these variations people look for, and they were all cataloged.
Catalogs like these, Slider says, is when the real collecting began.
Now they're down to the axles and insides and the base plates, and you know, they have it down to a science, every model.
Slider has a carousel of cars for sale, but his most prized possession are these two pieces. They're sample colors that were never put into production.
I think I paid $1,500 for the two pieces at the time.
You're looking to sell it for?
$10,000.
Wow. And while you'll see Matchbox cars from the Superfast era or Hot Wheels craze, don't forget there are two other names in the mix: Dinky Die-Cast Toys and Corgi.
Corgi Die-Cast, they started production in 1956. And they were produced in Swansea, South Wales.
Bob Porsche says the main difference between Corgi and Matchbox back in the 1960s was the cost.
More often than not, they used to go to department stores, and they were able to afford a Matchbox toy for approximately 49 to 55 cents. Now, Corgi toys were much more expensive back then, so consequently, the number of people that were able to afford those particular toys was not that many.
Like with any collector's item, the more you have of it, the better, right? So when these Matchbox cars first came out, a lot of people didn't pay attention to the box and simply tossed it away. And now today, the box is sometimes just as valuable as the car itself.
It's just made to hold a toy. You know, and many of us, when we first started, we didn't pay attention to the boxes. We just took the model and threw the box away. And you hear that over and over and over and over again.
From the widow who decides to sell her husband's beloved collection, to the parent who turned her son onto these miniature models.
I saw these cars and I started collecting them. I thought he would like them. Had no idea it was going to turn into this.
There's definitely a camaraderie within this community. Whether you're new to the hobby,
They're just really fascinating. They're fun to play with, pretty enjoyable.
or have been collecting them for decades. This annual show is a Matchbox made in heaven for everyone who loves these itty-bitty cars.